You know those girls that always look clean? May not be them, but here's how to get their look.
Hot girl tips I wish I knew sooner.
Become a dog mom, become a plant mom, become a cat mom.
If you want to become your most attractive self,
I'm on my way to go get my lips done for the first time.
I teach you how you're going to become the most magnetic, confident, badass version of yourself that you have ever been. Parts 1 and 2 were all about how you're going to start acting.
There's a lot. That's really partly why I started this series. When I looked out into the world, all I was seeing was that girl. And I felt like that wasn't what God wanted us to be as women. Like, if he could draw up something or tell us what to be, it wouldn't be a TikTok video of doing the things that that girl does. In response to what the world says, these are the verses that I turn to remind myself who God says I am as a woman and what that actually is, because I think it's really hard. I guess I just kind of wanted to put together a little note sheet of the verses that I look to when I'm like, okay, but wait, what does God say about this? And I think that's really important because we're hearing a lot of things on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, online, YouTube, podcasts, but have we actually looked at what God says, like what he has given us to look at, which is the Bible? I'm gonna go through the 7 verses that have reminded me how to be a woman of God. I hope they help you too. Genesis 2:18, and it says, God said, "It is not good for the man to be alone. I'll make him a helper, a companion." Like the first time a woman was mentioned, he says that she is a helper and a companion. I never forgot this one sermon that said that, like, the word for helper is actually help, like as if you were screaming like for help. She always said that word in like a yelling voice, like a woman is the help. And so we have a huge role to play. And I feel like a lot of responsibility and value is placed on someone who's a helper. The fact that when God saw man and that he needed something else, and that perfect something else was a woman, I think that's so cool. It honestly makes me emotional thinking about it right now, but who you are as a woman is exactly who a man needs. Ruth 3:11, "And now my daughter, fear not. I will do for you all you require. For all my people in the city know that you are a woman of strength, worth, bravery, capability." This verse is my all-time favorite. If I could pick a verse to define what a woman is, what a Christian woman of God is, it would be Ruth 3:11. I went through this actually for a month. I picked the 4 of those words, strength, worth, bravery, capability, and each week of the month I prayed and asked God for those things. I loved that so much. I should honestly do it again. That to me embodies what a woman is. That is the kind of woman that I want to be, and so whenever I read it and see those words, I feel empowered, I guess. And I love that in the whole book of Ruth, for one, but also in this verse, they never mention her physical appearance or beauty. And so I'm always encouraged by this, and it helps me focus more outward on what I can do versus how I look. Proverbs 14:1. "A wise woman builds her home, but a foolish woman tears it down with her own hands." I see me doing this a lot with my mental, physical, emotional health. Being a house, I feel like that's kind of what I view with this verse, is that a lot of women nowadays, again including me, with our own hands tear apart our value, self-esteem, worth. We need to be thinking about the things we're inputting or doing to ourselves, and is that building the house or is that destroying it? Because a lot of times we're our own worst enemy, and Satan tries to get us to basically be at war with ourselves. I want to try and be a wise woman who is building her house instead of using my own hands to have nothing left. Esther 4:14, "And who knows, perhaps you've been made queen for such a time as this." I love this verse. You're here in this very time for a specific reason and for a specific purpose. There's no mistake that you are here. I'm sorry, I'm getting emotional. I'm like, okay. I like that this verse like starts out as a question, like, and who knows, you know? Because I think it's like so obvious to me that like the answer is God knows. And you are here for such a time as this. And so I just love that. I don't really have much more to say about that one, so. 1 Timothy 2:9-10. "I want women to get in there with the men in humility before God, not primping before a mirror or chasing the latest fashions, but doing something beautiful for God and becoming beautiful doing it. I actually still have it as my Facebook bio, I think. I found it in college, and in terms of beauty, that has always been a hard thing for me. And it's only getting harder because we see beautiful women everywhere. A lot of times it's not even real half the time because there's filters, editing, plastic surgery now, like everywhere. It's hard to feel beautiful. As a woman of God, it's not about standing and looking at yourself in the mirror for hours on end and trying to be the most beautiful on the outside, but it's about getting out there and using your gifts that God gave you for Him, and that's how you become beautiful. The true beauty is serving God and serving others, and that is what true beauty is, and the beauty that ultimately lasts in the end, because like it says, like all is vanity. Looks will fade, it will all go away, but what lasts is doing things for God. I think like this also is a good reminder that as women, we're more than looks. Like we are made to get out there in the action. It says, I want women to get out there with the men in humility before God. Like we're not just supposed to just like sit there and look pretty. And I think a lot of people maybe have that misconception with the Bible, that it is saying that, and that clearly is not what the Bible is saying. And so I like that. I feel like it gets me kind of pumped up to go and do something crazy. So if you haven't read Proverbs 31, don't diss it basically till you read it, because I reference this verse a lot to people and they're like, oh yeah, like that verse, and I even would think the same thing. But if you actually read it, there is so much there, so much to take away. Oh shoot, the lighting. I guess we're just gonna have to deal with this. Okay, there's so much to learn from this verse. Every time, like the whole chapter on like being a good wife or like womanhood or whatever. The two verses that I really like about it though are Proverbs 31:21, where it says, she doesn't worry about her family when it snows. Their winter clothes are all mended and ready to wear. So for me, that talks about a woman as someone who is prepared. She doesn't worry. She is ready and trusts God for what is to come, the winter to come. Strength and dignity are her clothing, and her position is strong and secure. And she smiles at the future, knowing that she and her family are prepared. The clothes that we wear, the things we put on, which are strength and dignity. I love that she's laughing at the future, that she again knows who holds her future, and that she's done all she can to have been ready for whatever that she could. I think that is a smart woman, a wise woman, someone who isn't just, again, sitting there letting her husband do everything. I love the image that Proverbs 31 gives of a woman, and I hope that I will eventually reflect that. Joshua 1:5, all your life no one will be able to hold out against you. In the same way I was with Moses, I'll be with you. I won't give up on you. I won't leave you. Strength, courage. So this is a verse that doesn't reference women or anything, but it is one that I feel like all women should read. Joshua, just in general, has helped me out of the worst days and years of my life. And this verse, I feel like, taps into the sense of adventure that I feel like women have. This call to courage that we don't hear in the world all that much, I feel like. This verse is very encouraging to me, knowing that God is always with you. He'll never leave you, and that no matter what you're facing as a woman, He calls you to have strength and courage, and that I'm gonna cry again. He'll be with you every single step of the way. So on your womanhood journey, whatever that looks like for you, know that He is with you and He will strengthen you and give you courage. You can do this, and you were made for this. One other thing I wanted to mention that I've been thinking lately is, I'll ask myself, what would a woman of God do? I literally will think of like women in my life who I respect and who are women of God, like my mom, my grandma, my aunt, and what they would do in the situation that I'm facing. Or I'll visualize like, what would I do in that situation if I was a woman of God, you know, if that makes sense. And so the verse that reminds me of this is Titus 2:3-5. Guide older women into lives of reverence, so they end up as neither gossips nor drunks, but models of goodness. By looking at them, the younger women will know how to love their husbands and children, be virtuous and pure, keep a good house, and be good wives. Ultimately, obviously, we want to be like Jesus, but I feel like it's helpful thinking of like your mom or grandma and knowing like how she does the dishes, that she keeps her house clean, or that she would do the things that she doesn't want to do all the time, like going to the grocery store and stuff. So just ask yourself, what would a woman of God do? And do those things. Obviously, there's so many verses in the Bible that talk about what a woman of God is like, what she should do. There's a lot on marriage. There's just so many impactful verses, so I would love to hear yours down below and what verses help you become the woman that God made you to be. But yeah, these are the ones that have stood out to me so far and are ones that I go back to often. So I hope they help you on your journey towards being a woman of God. I know how hard it is to try and figure out what that means. What I've learned is that as much as sometimes I feel like the lines can be blurry of, you know, gender roles, all of that stuff, overall the comforting thought to me is just that women are different. And that is a beautiful thing, and that is a strength. God made us different in so many ways, and the more I learn about those differences, the more I appreciate and love who I am as a woman. I keep using the word embrace because I feel like it's just, I want to really embrace and enhance who God made me to be as a woman, and it feels like dusting off a stone or something, and I keep seeing different aspects. And the more I embrace my womanhood, the more I feel like I see God reflecting in my life, and I see more sides of him. Like I said, I hope that this helped you and is a little note card that you can open up, that I'll open up and reread and rewatch again. Don't forget to subscribe if you would like to join the laundry chat. I would love that. I'll see you in the next video of the laundry chat. Bye, you guys.